Right, gentlemen, let me ask you something that might make you squirm a bit. You lot spend hours down the gym, working your arms, your chest, perhaps even your legs if you're particularly dedicated. But what about the one muscle group 95% of blokes completely ignore? Yes, I'm talking about your penis. Now, I know that sounds rather cheeky at first, but stay with me here. In my 30-plus years as a urologist, I've seen thousands of men who thought their intimate life was finished, only to discover they'd simply never taken this particular muscle to the gym. And here's the brilliant part. You absolutely can train it, keep blood flowing properly, and prevent the age-related decline that most men think is inevitable. Before we dive in, do me a favor. If you want more straight-talking, evidence-based advice about men's health, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm Dr. Sophie Caldwell, and I promise you, what I'm about to share could genuinely change your life. Now then, let's get to it. Here's the myth I hear constantly in my consulting room. Erectile dysfunction is all about testosterone. Absolute rubbish. Yes, testosterone plays a role in libido and energy, but the real story runs much deeper than that. The main reason men lose strong erections with age isn't just low hormones, it's changes in the actual erectile tissue itself. Inside your penis are two long chambers called the corpora cavernosa. Think of them as expandable sponges made of smooth muscle tissue. When blood rushes in during arousal, these chambers expand, press against the outer casing, and trap the blood inside. That's what creates a firm erection. Simple enough, right? But here's the problem, and this is absolutely crucial to understand. Over time, if those chambers aren't regularly filled, stretched, and oxygenated, the smooth muscle tissue gets replaced by stiff collagen fibers. It's a process we call fibrosis. That means instead of being flexible and elastic like a proper muscle, the tissue becomes rigid and leaky. The veins don't seal properly anymore. Blood escapes too quickly. That's why you might get an erection that doesn't stay put, or one that feels softer than it used to. So no, it's not just testosterone. It's genuinely use it or lose it. And that's precisely where our gym plan comes in. Now, for those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Sophie Caldwell. I've been a practicing urologist for over 30 years, helping men restore not just their sexual health, but their confidence, their relationships, and their overall sense of vitality. I've worked with gentlemen in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 80s, who've regained function they genuinely thought was gone forever. And it didn't happen because of some magic pill from a dodgy website. It happened because they finally learned how to condition their erections the same way they condition their muscles, their heart, and their mind. I've seen a 72-year-old patient from Manchester who hadn't had a proper erection in 5 years start seeing improvements within 8 weeks. A 65-year-old chap from Bristol, who was too embarrassed to even discuss it with his wife, is now back to a completely normal, intimate life. These aren't miracle cures. They're the result of proper medical guidance and consistent effort. So what I'm sharing with you today isn't theory plucked from some American self-help book. It's based on 3 decades of medical training, clinical practice with the NHS and private patients, and real-life results I've seen time and time again. Let's break it down, step by step. Here are the 5 most important things you need to know and avoid if you want to train your penis properly and protect your erections for the long haul. Mistake number 5. Thinking that sex alone is enough exercise. Sure, intercourse or masturbation bring blood flow to the penis, and that's important. But let's be realistic here. As men get older, sex tends to happen less frequently. Stress, fatigue, illness, relationship dynamics, or simply life circumstances can mean your penis isn't working out nearly as often as it used to. And here's what most blokes don't realize. You need erections 3 to 5 times per week, minimum, to maintain healthy tissue. That's quite a lot, isn't it? If you're only managing once or twice a fortnight, that tissue isn't getting the oxygen workout it needs. That's why depending on sex alone simply isn't enough. You need a backup plan to make sure your erectile tissue still gets its regular conditioning sessions. Mistake number 4, ignoring the power of a simple medical tool that most men have never heard of. Here's the game changer, and I want you to listen carefully. It's called a vacuum erection device, often just called a penis pump. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. You're picturing those rubbish products you've seen advertised online with ridiculous claims about adding inches. Forget all that nonsense. I'm talking about proper medical-grade devices that are safe, effective, and actually prescribed by urologists like myself. These are Class 2 medical devices regulated by the MHRA here in Britain. The NHS actually provides these on prescription for certain conditions. Here's how it works, and it's really quite straightforward. You place your penis into a clear cylinder, create gentle negative pressure using a hand pump or electric pump, and blood is drawn into the erectile chambers. There you have it. You've just given your penis a full workout. It's not about size, despite what those dodgy websites claim. It's about stretching the smooth muscle tissue, oxygenating the cells, and conditioning the mechanism that keeps blood trapped inside during natural erections. When men use this regularly and correctly, the tissue stays elastic, the blood vessels remain healthy, and the whole system works the way it's supposed to. I've prescribed these to hundreds of patients over the years, and the success rate is genuinely impressive when they're used properly. Now, where do you actually get one of these devices? This is the question I get asked most often. Look for FDA-approved or CE-marked devices. In the UK, you can get them on NHS prescription if you speak to your GP or a urologist. Brands like Rapport, Post-TVAC, and Augusta are proper medical devices, not toys. They typically cost between £80 and £200 for a decent one. Yes, it's an investment, but it's a one-time purchase that can last years. Compare that to pills at 20 quid a pop, every single time you want to be intimate. The maths makes sense, doesn't it? If cost is an issue right now, don't let that stop you from starting with the free methods I'll discuss. Manual exercises and lifestyle changes. You can save up gradually whilst building those healthy habits. Mistake number 3. Overdoing it, because men always think if a little is good, more must be better. Wrong, dead wrong. Your penis contains delicate tissue, not a bloody bicep muscle. If you pump too hard, hold the pressure too long, or do marathon sessions thinking you'll get faster results, you're not training, you're causing trauma. That means bruising, swelling, even damage to the very tissue you're trying to protect. I've seen men come into my clinic with injuries from overuse, and it's completely unnecessary. The sweet spot is about 10 minutes per session. Think of it like interval training at the gym. Pump up to a comfortable, firm erection. Not painful, not straining, just firm. Hold that pressure for 30 to 60 seconds. Then release the pressure completely and let the blood flow out. Rest for about 30 seconds. Then repeat. Do that cycle for approximately 10 minutes, 3 to 5 times per week. That's genuinely all you need. More than that, and you risk overdoing it. Less than that, and you won't see optimal results. It's about consistency, not intensity. Mistake number 2. Forgetting the lifestyle foundation, because even the best penis workout routine won't overcome poor health habits. If you smoke, drink heavily, sit on your backside all day, eat rubbish food, or ignore proper sleep, your erections will suffer. Full stop. Why? Because erections are essentially a cardiovascular event. Your penis is like a barometer for your overall vascular health. If your arteries are clogged with plaque, if your blood pressure is sky high, if your blood sugar is all over the shop, that same damage is happening inside the tiny arteries of your penis. Those arteries are much smaller than the ones in your heart, so they show damage earlier. That's why erectile problems often predict heart disease by 3 to 5 years. So your training plan absolutely must include the basics. Walk at least 30 minutes daily. No excuses. Do some form of strength training 2 to 3 times weekly. Doesn't have to be a fancy gym membership. Body weight exercises at home work brilliantly. Sleep 7 to 8 hours consistently. Control your blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. Get them checked regularly. Cut back significantly on smoking and alcohol. I know that's not what you want to hear, especially about the pint down the pub, but these are the biggest levers you can pull. Without addressing these fundamentals, no gadget or pill will save you. Your body is a system, and every part affects every other part. Mistake number 1, and this is absolutely critical: chasing gimmicks instead of proper medical guidance. I cannot stress this enough, gentlemen. Do not inject oils, fillers, or unregulated substances into your penis. Do not buy sketchy lengthening creams from websites with questionable spellings. Do not gamble with your manhood by following advice from random blokes on internet forums. I've seen the damage these things can cause, and it's genuinely heartbreaking. Scarring, permanent dysfunction, deformity, these are real consequences I've had to try to repair surgically. The only proven ways to condition erections are regular natural erections, whether sexual or nocturnal, safe medical pumping with proper devices, lifestyle optimization, as I've discussed, and in some cases guided medical treatments like penile traction devices or prescription therapies under a doctor's supervision. Everything else is snake oil that can leave you permanently damaged. If something sounds too good to be true, it absolutely is. Right then, now let me tell you exactly what to expect on this journey, because managing your expectations properly is crucial. This is the question I get asked most often. How long until I see results? Here's the honest answer: week by week. During weeks 1 and 2, you're simply getting comfortable with the device and the routine. You won't see visible changes yet, and that's completely normal. You're learning proper technique, finding what pressure feels right, building the habit. Some men feel a bit awkward or self-conscious at first. That's fine, it passes. The key during this phase is consistency and not overdoing it. By weeks 3 and 4, you might start noticing stronger morning erections. This is often the first sign that the tissue is responding. Morning erections are your body's natural maintenance system. They happen 3 to 5 times per night during REM sleep, oxygenating the tissue. When you start your training program, you're essentially supplementing this natural process. Moving into month 2, typically around 6 to 8 weeks, most men start seeing noticeable improvement in firmness and how long erections last. This is when the smooth muscle tissue is genuinely starting to remodel itself, becoming more elastic and responsive. The blood trapping mechanism is working more efficiently. By months 3 to 4, you should see significant improvement if you've been consistent with the routine and lifestyle changes. This is the typical timeline for the majority of my patients. Now, I must be honest with you, results do vary. About 20% of men see faster results, responding brilliantly within 4 to 6 weeks. Another 20% need longer, perhaps 5 to 6 months, especially if there's significant existing damage or underlying health conditions. The remaining 60% fall into that typical 3 to 4 month range. The key is persistence. Don't give up after 3 weeks if you haven't seen dramatic changes yet. Now, let's talk about cost and accessibility, because this is a real concern for many men, and rightfully so. Medical-grade vacuum devices typically cost between £80 and £200. That's for a quality MHRA-approved device that will last you years with proper care. Yes, it feels like a significant outlay up front, but let's put this in perspective. Prescription pills like sildenafil cost roughly £20 per session, sometimes more. If you're intimate twice a week, that's £160 per month, nearly £2,000 per year. Every single year. For decades, potentially. A one-time investment of 150 quid for a device that trains your natural function starts looking rather sensible, doesn't it? Regarding insurance coverage, if you're with the NHS and have a diagnosed erectile dysfunction condition, your GP can actually prescribe these devices, and you'll pay standard prescription charges. Private insurance varies. Check your policy, but many do cover erectile dysfunction treatments with proper documentation. If cost is genuinely prohibitive right now, don't let that stop you from starting. Begin with the completely free methods: pelvic floor exercises, lifestyle modifications, ensuring you're getting proper sleep and morning erections. These cost absolutely nothing and are foundational anyway. Save up gradually for the device whilst you're building these healthy habits. Even modest improvements from free methods are better than doing nothing. Right, now let's discuss what happens when things don't go quite to plan, because troubleshooting is essential. If you're experiencing pain during use, stop immediately. You're using far too much pressure. The sensation should be a gentle pulling, perhaps slightly uncomfortable at first, but never painful. Reduce the pressure significantly and build up gradually over several sessions. Think of it like stretching a tight muscle. You work up to it, you don't force it. If you're seeing absolutely no improvement after 8 to 10 weeks of consistent use, it's time to see your GP or a urologist. There may be underlying issues that need addressing. Perhaps testosterone levels do need checking. Or there could be vascular problems requiring medication or further investigation. The device works brilliantly for many men, but it's not a cure-all for every single case. If the device feels awkward or embarrassing to use, that's completely normal initially. It takes 2 to 3 weeks for most men to get comfortable with the routine. Try incorporating it into your existing bathroom routine, perhaps after your morning shower when you have privacy. Set a phone reminder so it becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth. If you're feeling embarrassed about discussing this with your partner, remember that honest communication strengthens relationships. You might say something like, "I've been learning about some new health routines that could really benefit us both. My doctor suggested this device to improve blood flow and keep everything working properly as I get older." Frame it as proactive health maintenance, which is exactly what it is, not as a problem or failure. And if you're struggling with consistency, pair this activity with an existing habit you never skip. Perhaps right after your morning coffee or whilst watching the evening news. Set a recurring reminder on your phone. Track your sessions on a calendar. Seeing that streak of consistent days is genuinely motivating. So let's put this all together into a simple weekly routine you can actually follow. This is your complete penis gym plan, and I want you to write this down. 3 to 5 days per week, perform a 10-minute vacuum device session. Pump slowly and steadily until you achieve a comfortable, firm erection. Hold that pressure for 30 to 60 seconds. Release the pressure completely and rest for 30 seconds. Repeat this cycle for approximately 10 minutes total. During those rest periods between pumping cycles, add 2 sets of 5 gentle pelvic floor contractions. These are the same muscles you'd use to stop urinating midstream. Squeeze them firmly for 3 seconds, then relax completely. This strengthens the internal support structure. Most days of the week, walk for 30 minutes minimum. This improves overall circulation and cardiovascular health, which directly affects erectile function. You don't need to power walk or jog. A brisk, comfortable pace where you can still hold a conversation is perfect. 2 to 3 days per week, do some form of strength training. Press movements, pulling movements, squats, and hip hinges. This doesn't require a gym membership. Press-ups, rows with resistance bands, bodyweight squats, and bridges all work brilliantly. Muscle building helps with testosterone production and metabolic health. Every single night, protect your sleep quality. Aim for 7 to 8 hours consistently. Those nocturnal erections during REM sleep are nature's way of conditioning your erectile tissue. You get 3 to 5 per night naturally. If you're chronically sleep deprived, you're missing out on this free training. Optionally, and only if your doctor agrees, consider a nitric oxide supporting supplement like L-citrulline before your pump sessions. L-citrulline converts to L-arginine in the body, which then produces nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for dilating blood vessels and improving blood flow. Watermelon extract is a natural source, but check with your GP first, especially if you're on any medications. That's genuinely it. Simple, doable, sustainable. No complicated protocols, no expensive ongoing costs, no risky interventions. Now, I know some of you might be feeling rather discouraged at this point. Perhaps you've noticed your erections aren't what they used to be. Maybe you've felt embarrassed or less confident in intimate situations. Possibly you've even started avoiding intimacy altogether because you're worried about disappointing your partner. I want you to hear me very clearly on this. You are not broken, and you are absolutely not alone. Every single man faces changes as he ages. But those changes are not the end of your story. They're simply a new chapter that requires a slightly different approach. With the right habits, implemented consistently, you can maintain strong, reliable erections well into your later years. I've seen this countless times with my patients over 3 decades of practice. Men who genuinely thought they were finished, who'd resigned themselves to that being it, suddenly feeling 20 years younger in their confidence and intimacy. It's not about desperately chasing youth or comparing yourself to your 20-year-old self. It's about protecting your dignity, your connection with your partner, and your sense of vitality as a man. Those things matter profoundly at every age. So here's the bottom line, gentlemen. You absolutely can take your penis to the gym. And when you do, you're not just training tissue. You're protecting your masculinity, your confidence, and your quality of life. Remember these key principles. Gentle, consistent practice beats intensity every single time. A few smart habits followed regularly will serve you far better than quick fixes or risky gimmicks promising miracle results. Your erectile health is intimately connected to your overall health, so address the foundations first. If you found this video genuinely helpful, please hit that like button, share it with a mate who might benefit. And yes, I know that's an awkward conversation, but your friendship might depend on it. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss future episodes on men's health topics that actually matter. And let me know in the comments, are you going to try the penis gym plan? Where in the world are you watching from? I'd genuinely love to hear your story, or if you're uncomfortable commenting publicly, that's absolutely fine too. For those wanting more detailed guidance, I've put together a complete resource pack. There's a link in the description below. It includes a printable workout tracker, a guide to choosing proper medical devices with specific recommendations, safety checklists, and a list of red flags that mean you should see a doctor immediately, all completely free. Gentlemen, aging is inevitable. Every one of us is getting older every single day. But decline? That's genuinely optional. With the right approach, the right information, and consistent effort, you can stay strong, vibrant, and confident for decades to come. I'm Dr. Sophie Caldwell, and I'll see you in the next one. Right then, off you go. You've got work to do.